Alright, hey babe, how you doing? Well, it's me. What's up, baby stinker? Hey Micah, it's Daddy. You get to see Daddy be a little silly for a little bit, okay? Because Mommy's always saying how when she talks to Daddy sometimes, she's always playing and joking, saying, you know what, you're such a nerd, you're such a nerd. Well, Daddy went out of his way and he found a nerd. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little interview here of the nerd to find out exactly what makes him, what drives him to be the nerd that he is. And then the nerd that Mommy always says, you're such a nerd, you're such a nerd. So I hope you enjoy it and we just can have a little bit of fun with this, okay? Okay? Daddy loves you, and yeah babe, your nerd loves you too. Alright? So set up some questions here. We have a very informal interview setting going on here. And we have an empty space right here where our nerd is about to join us. And so I guess we'll go ahead and get this started, okay? But one of the first questions we want to ask him is, our nerd's name also happens to be Will. And we figured we'd ask him, first question was, did you always want to be a nerd when you were a kid? So, Will, did you always want to be a nerd when you were a kid? Well, I don't know if I always felt different, like people were just, they looked at me different, and I just kind of stuck out. I don't know. Is that the right answer? I mean, I don't know. Uh, I just know that I've always felt like a nerd. So I hope that answers your question. Does that answer your question? I hope so. Okay. Okay, well, we do thank you, and I appreciate your honesty there. I guess something else we'd like to know is, what is it like? Is it like a hobby or a pastime, or like a deep calling for you? Or, how does that work? Where does that inspiration for being a nerd come from? Well, I really have, this gets kind of exciting here because I really have lots of sources of inspiration. But, while the list gets really long, I'd have to say that the top of my list is Congress. Uh, they don't make any sense. They argue and debate for days and weeks and months and years sometimes, and they still don't come to any kind of agreement on nothing. And I think half the time, living in Nerdville, we might make more sense than they do. Am I allowed to say that? Is okay? Is okay? I hope so. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody or anything. I just, did I even answer the question? I'm starting to feel like a politician. I don't remember what the question was. Can you repeat the question, please? Well, no, Will, we won't take the time to repeat the question, but that's okay. It's okay. What we'll do is go ahead and move on with the rest of the interview here. And we'd like to ask you how you rate yourself compared to other nerds that you see. Well, let's see. This is a really good question, but the thing is I'm a little confused because are you talking like metaphysically speaking, or from the point where no nerd has gone before, or one step to nerdidity and beyond, or just the basic breakdown of Geekville? I mean, I don't know. So I guess I need a standard to compare it to. Unless you're referring to my standard, then just think I'm super nerd. Okay, well, I think that's very well put, and it's in some cases it may actually prompt more questions that I don't think we have enough time for in this interview. I guess Last, a question we'd have for you in this interview is, when did you really know down deep inside that you wanted to be a nerd? I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you knew that being a nerd was your uh, deepest calling, down to the fiber of your being. Well, that's a really good question, and I'm sorry. I said I wasn't gonna cry, but um, I just, I just, I felt growing up. I felt like growing up, but the key inspiration for me really started September last year. You know, that was really when it hit me when I got married. You know, my wife keeps saying you're such a nerd, and when someone says something often enough, you start to believe it. I don't remember what it was like to be normal before that, but it seems to bring a smile to her face. And we're working on raising a 23.5 pound boy of personality. And I don't know, maybe he can help break the cycle. You think? Micah, can you help Daddy break the cycle? Well, we thank you very much for your time in this interview, and our nerd had to go take off and everything. But based on the interview we've had here, I'm hoping, by the grace of God, that the cycle can be broken with Micah. And if not, Micah, welcome to Daddy's world. Welcome to Nerdville. Love ya.